It began in the shadows of Gethsemane. The air was thick with the scent of damp earth and ancient wood. Jesus had finished his prayer, and now the world was coming for him. A contingent of Roman soldiers and temple guards emerged from the mist, carrying torches and lanterns that cast long, flickering shadows against the twisted olive trees. Among them was Judas. Jesus, knowing all that was about to happen, stepped forward into the light of the torches. His voice was steady, a calm in the center of the coming storm. "Who are you looking for?" he asked. When he spoke his name, the power of his presence sent the armed men stumbling back to the ground. He stood alone, the only one truly free in a garden full of captives. By dawn, the city of Jerusalem was awake, but it was a restless waking. Jesus was led from the high priest to the cold marble headquarters of the Roman governor. Pontius Pilate stepped into the hall of judgment, his eyes searching the face of the prisoner. He found himself caught between a man he could not understand and a mob he could not control. "Pilate, are you the king of the Jews?" Jesus, "My kingdom is not of this world. If it were, my followers would fight to keep me from being handed over. But my kingdom is not from here." Pilate looked at the truth standing before him and felt the weight of his own shadows. "Pilate, what is truth?" Pilate asked the question, but he did not wait for the answer. Outside, the chanting began. A low rumble at first, growing into a roar that demanded blood. "Crucify him! Crucify him!" To appease the crowd, Pilate handed the truth over to be destroyed. The soldiers wove a crown of long, jagged thorns and smashed it onto his head. They draped him in a robe of mocking purple. "Hail, King of the Jews!" They laughed, their voices echoing off the stone walls. The sentence was passed. The heavy timber of the cross was laid upon his torn shoulders. Every step toward the hill was a testament to the weight of our transgressions. The streets were narrow, and the heat of the morning sun was stifling. He walked past the very people he had come to save. The sick he had healed, the poor he had fed. He did not look at them with anger, but with a sorrow that went deeper than the physical pain. The wood dragged through the dust, carving a path toward the end. The NLT tells us he went out to the place called the Skull, Golgotha. They reached the summit. The sound of the hammer was a hollow ring that seemed to echo through eternity. They nailed him to the cross between two others, one on his right and one on his left. It was noon, but the sun refused to shine. A thick, heavy darkness settled over the land, a darkness you could feel on your skin, as if the light itself had gone into mourning. Standing near the cross were his mother and the disciple he loved, John. Jesus looked down through the agony, his heart still reaching out for those he was leaving behind. "Jesus, dear woman, here is your son. Jesus, John, here is your mother." The birds went silent. The world was suspended in a moment of cosmic decision. To fulfill the ancient words of the prophets, Jesus whispered through parched lips, "I am thirsty." The 3 hours of darkness felt like an age. The shadows of the crosses stretched long and jagged against the hill. Jesus knew the work was done, every prophecy fulfilled, every debt accounted for. He received the sour wine from a sponge. He looked up through the blackness of the storm to the Father. Jesus, it is finished. With those words, the Creator of the stars bowed his head and gave up his spirit. The earth convulsed, the rocks split. In the city, the heavy veil of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. The barrier was gone. The Roman centurion, a man of war who had seen 1,000 deaths, looked up at the silhouette on the center cross. He dropped his spear and fell to his knees. Centurion, truly, this was the Son of God.
Thank you so much for watching. If this story blessed your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel so we can continue sharing God's Word together. I'd love to hear from you. Tell us in the comments what part of this story stood out to you the most. Until next time, may God bless you and your family.